Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. I'm going to wait for everyone to get in the room. I know I'm running a little bit late. Give me some grace. My name is Brill. Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. So what I want to do is talk about why hypergamy still matters. Let me see if I can find my glasses because I can't see without them. Why hypergamy still matters. Okay, first of all, I'm going to be talking about hypergamy that I learned before I knew the word hypergamy. Hypergamy doesn't mean the same thing that I'm noticing that I'm seeing on social media. Hypergamy for me, it just means improvement, options, freedom, and acceptance. These are things that I was taught without the word hypergamy until I learned it on social media. That's the first time I ever came across that word. Was on social media, all the live streams and videos I saw about hypergamy. I didn't know what it was because I don't live underneath the way that is explained. The way I was taught when it comes to hypergamy is to be with a man who improves your situation, to be with a man who gives you option, to be with the man who gives you freedom. That is what I was taught. So you don't have to be under the definitions that you're seeing on social media where it is a price point in order for you to be with that guy, that he has a whole checklist before you can even consider to be hypergamy. I can tell you personally, and women, and I can speak for women who've done the same thing, they stopped chasing the price point and started looking at the value that a man added. If a man adds value to your life, that is hypergamy. When he comes in your life, he changes it for the better. That is hypergamy. He gives you options. He gives you freedom. He gives you acceptance. That is hypergamy. I know that you can get twisted up in all the details and the definition of, social dynamics and social economics, and he has to have this certain price point or be making a certain amount, and that would be hypergamy for some women. But I want to make it very simple for women who want to do this. And this means you don't have to chase a price point. You don't have to chase a rich man. You can just make sure that the men that are coming to you are adding value. He's changing your life. He's doing something for you. He's giving you options. When I met my husband, I was nothing more than a clerk at a gas station. And yes, I could take care of my basic necessities, my basic needs. But when he came into my life, I was able to not only level up so economically, I was able to level up intellectually, I was able to level up as a woman. And those things I looked at as valuable. And that's what we have to start looking at when it comes to hypergamy, because I came across a video. I think it's still a good video. I'm not knocking the video. I think it was a great video, by the way, when she was explaining the differences between hypergamy and the levels to it. See, that's complicated. I'm a simple girl. I'm from the country. I'm a country girl overall. I like simple ideologies. I like simple ideals. And the way I was taught when it came to dealing with men, and this is something my grandma used to say all the time, we used to just laugh, but it's so important today. She would tell me, you can fall in love with a rich man just as well as a poor. And I was like, I would just giggle because I really understand what she was talking about. The older I get, the more understanding that I have. And for her, it didn't mean that I had to wait on a rich man to come along. It just means I need to be open to a man that's valuable. That if he's adding value to my quality of life, then I needed to look at him in its entirety and all the qualities and everything he brings to me. And that's what you need to look at when it comes to hypergamy. Don't make it complicated. Don't make it very simple. I need you to downsize what hypergamy means to you, so that you're not on this Ferris wheel of trying to run off a rich man or run off a man who has a certain price point. That's the reason why I don't ever talk about a man making a certain amount of money is the one that you should be with. The man that brings the most value, the man that improves your quality of life, the man that gives you options, the man that gives you freedom. That's what my husband brought to me. He didn't ask me to be anybody else but Braille. He gave me acceptance. Not only did he give me acceptance, he put his resources where his mouth is. And he allowed me to be me. Now, he gave me options where I can go to work, not go to work. The ball is in my court when it comes to that. And that's what added value to my life. Not only his morals, his family code of ethics that he carries, these things add value. His loyalty, These things add value. So when it comes to hypergamy, I need you to simplify it. I need you to uncomplicate it, because it has become very complicated, especially when you go to social media and see everybody's different definitions of hypergamy. All of them are looking either for a certain price point in a man, or a different socioeconomic level, which is something great to look forward to. I just want you to think about it and downsize it I want you to look at it in a way of, as long as this man is bringing value, he's improved my quality of life, this is my idea of hypergamy. That's where, and I think I did a video about this a long time ago when I was really, I don't even think I was monetized. I don't think I had 1,000 followers. And a young lady got in my comment section. She's like, that's what I did. I got so tired of trying to be around rich men. I got so tired of focusing on his price point and how much money he made that I just started to look at how did he improve my quality of life. And that's how she got her idea of hypergamy. And that is the most simple definition that you can utilize anywhere. Hey Daisy, hey Hessie, hey girl, so happy to catch today's live. Is there a specific value that a man spends on you to consider hypergamy in the beginning of a relationship? I've seen someone saying he must spend $5K before considering a relationship with him. See, this is where we start to make things complicated when we don't have to make things complicated. There is no specific amount of money that a man has to spend on you. Is this man improving your life? When you look around your life, is it getting better with him in it, or is it getting worse with him in it? That is what I look for. I wasn't ever looking for a price point or a specific amount that a man had to spend on me. I was literally looking for him to be very generous. I wanted him to have certain values that I have. Like, I'm very family oriented. I wanted him to be that also. I have a moral code and principle that I live by. I want him to have his own. These are the things I look for within my husband. And that was my idea of hypergamy. So this is the reason why I wanted to do this video, because hypergamy still matters. I'm never talking down on hypergamy or saying that we shouldn't be practicing hypergamy, because I would rather you practice hypergamy with your requirements than to get out here and date a man that's not even able to improve your quality of life. So many different videos that I came across when it came to the conversation of hypergamy. That's the reason I wanted to talk about it. I want to talk about it still matters. In 2024, hypergamy still matters. It's still very important about the type of man that you want to entertain, the type of man that you want to be with for the long term, because that decides so much. Being with the type of man that is offering you resources and bringing value and improving your quality of life, that is so important, because once you have kids, even before you have kids, you start to feel the effect of not experiencing or having a man that you can depend on. But per se, for me, the way I was raised, I was never taught he had to spend a certain amount on me, because men use money as a tool. That's the reason why it's not really a good indicator that he's even interested or serious about you. Those things are not a good way to vet a man. Yes, it feels good for a man to pay for things for you. It feels good for a man to be generous with you. It feels good for a man to take care of you. But that should not be the indicator. And that should not be the basis of you practicing hypergamy. And all I'm saying, and let me be very clear, I am not saying hypergamy is a bad thing. I think we've made it very complicated. That's what we've done. We've made it to a point where even I've had consultations with certain women that they have this idea that they're not able to achieve hypergamy based off the rules and requirements that social media has established. And so I'm uncomplicating hypergamy, and I'm making it very simple to you with my down country rules that I was taught by my grandmother. She taught me that when it came, before I even know the word of hypergamy, what mattered more is a man improving my quality of life. That's what matters more. That is what matters more. Having him in your life, is he improving it or is he making it worse? That's the idea of hypergamy that I grew up with. I didn't grow up with, he had to spend a certain amount on me. And I've had men before my husband spend on me, but I understand that money is a tool for men. That's not a good indicator of anything, especially if nothing's serious. Because men throw money around all the time. It doesn't mean that they want to be with you. It doesn't mean that they care anything about you. It just means they understand how the world operates. Money moves the world. And sometimes money moves women. So they know they can get access to certain types of women if they have money. So I would never use that as a basis of him being serious about me. If anyone knows my story with my husband, the first time we met, my husband took me on a shopping spree. But that isn't what made me see him as a contender or a serious pursuer, a serious man pursuing me at all. That definitely didn't do it. It just perked me up to let me see him and let me see that maybe I need to pay attention to who this man is. I love freedom. That is one of my favorite perks of being a pedestal wife. That's a great definition of hypergamy. I love that. You all, I'm going to tell you now, there's so many women who have practiced hypergamy in this way. Social media has made hypergamy complicated. It has made women think that in order for them to practice hypergamy, the only way to do so is to marry a rich man. They have also made women think the only way to practice hypergamy is if he's spending a certain amount on them. Also, they've made women think the only way to practice hypergamy is if he has a specific job or makes a specific amount. When hypergamy is nothing more, nothing less than making sure that that man improves your quality of life. The current life that you're living, if him living with you within that life, is he improving that? Do you see, can you look around and see that your life is improving with him in it? When I got with my husband, I could see that. I could see that I became also a lot more in flow and in touch with the divine, because I was able to lean back and trust, because he was really good about making decisions and leading and standing and building a foundation for our relationship. I didn't ever have to I was never confused about what we were or what we are, basically. I knew that we were together. He made sure of that. He moved in that way. And anything that he had, he gave to me first. Even if it was some of the things that he had for himself, he was willing to give it over to me. If I was to say, hey, I'm hungry, and he just bought him, well, he would never go buy himself something to eat. We've been married too long for that. But let's say he did, and I say I'm hungry, he would give it to me. He's always been very generous about the things that he has. He's never wanted to withhold anything from me. He wanted to give anything he had to me also. He included me. And he never, because when it comes down to it, I can be very straightforward and say, I already know that I'm very quirky. I didn't do some of the things back then that a lot of women did my age. So he accepted that. He knows that I like to read. I spend the majority of my time reading. And instead of, he never tried to come in and change me or make me into somebody else or belittle me because I wasn't out here or being out and about. He enjoyed the fact that I had something that I loved, and he encouraged it. Matter of fact, one of the things that I loved that he gave me was a Kindle. And it's very simple, but it's something he noticed about me. He noticed that I love books. So he made it in a way where I could have all my books at my fingertips all the time. But the point is he improving your life with him in it? That is hypergamy. That is your level of hypergamy. That is another definition that you utilize for hypergamy. And there's plenty of women who are currently doing that now. They're not invested in all of this. He has to make a specific amount. He has to spend amount on me. He has to have this social currency. Those things are different levels, different ideals of hypergamy. I just want to give you something that's uncomplicated and very simple. And this will help you a whole lot more when you get straight to the point and look at hypergamy and you practice it, and how does hypergamy show up in your life? Because hypergamy still matters. 2024, nothing has changed. Hypergamy is still needed. Women need to still practice hypergamy. It's just about how you go about practicing it. Are you limiting yourself by the way that you practice it? Are you looking for specific things that are keeping you from actually achieving it? Because the things, I consult, I mentor, I talk to women, and I've noticed that some women really do have an idea of hypergamy that's holding them back from actually achieving it. And the women who are achieving it right now, one of the things that's happening is they've made it very simple. They look at the guy and make sure that he's improving her life. If he's coming in and he's improving her life, and I know a lot of women like to say, well, what does that improvement look like? The improvement is something that you have to determine. That's something that you have to determine, because what is important to you? That's where the improvement is going to happen, is him coming in and making sure that there's some structure in your life. Is he coming in and helping you feel more in touch with the divine? Is he coming in and he's putting things together where you can just kind of step back? What is he doing to improve your quality of life? And if this is something I think all women need to journal on, so that you can get your own idea of what hypergamy means and what it looks like for you, so that you can achieve it. Because I think if we keep following what social media is talking about when it comes to hypergamy, a lot of women will not achieve it. They just won't. Because some women will never be in rooms of rich men. Some women will never be able to be in certain social circles that's going to get them that type of man. So what I want to do for my women is to uncomplicate a simple idea of hypergamy and bringing it to you so you can assess it, so that you can have it, because you can have it also, and it still matters. It still matters. I know that people are talking about, oh, it's the economy, the economy, the economy. That's limited thinking. Trust me, there's tons of people who have created their own economy, that the economy doesn't affect the economy that they have created. So hypergamy still matters, but you need to define and figure out how you can assess it and have it, especially if there's something holding you back from being able to have hypergamy in your life. If you're still living under a rule that he has to have a certain amount of money, or he has to have a specific job, or he has to spend a certain amount on you, those things are going to limit you from being able to assess hypergamy. Because regardless of any man that's masculine, all men that are masculine want to take care of women, but they don't want to be taken advantage of. So if you're coming off where you're like resource hungry, money hungry, these things are going to kind of repel those masculine men. They know you want to be taken care of. They know you want the resources, but they don't want it right in their faces. That's true. I have seen ladies who may not have a rich man, isn't wearing designer, but she doesn't have to work and he takes care of her. I know tons of women like that. There's tons of women that I know that's practice hypergamy in a way that I'm having this conversation today. I'm not even worried about, I know that with all the videos of hypergamy, that this one is not going to really hit women in the face, because women want to talk about the luxury, the money, the positions, the spending that a man has to do in order to practice hypergamy, but those things only limit some women's access to hypergamy. And this is the real reason why some women will not be able to practice it, not because it's not out there, because hypergamy is out there. There's men out there who will take care of you, who will make sure that you can sit down and have a wonderful life. But if the only requirement that you have in your head, that he has to have a certain social currency, or he has to have a specific job, or he has to make a certain amount of money, these things are going to prevent you from accessing it, because those pool of women, they're large. The competition is heavy. That's what I'm going to put out. The competition is heavy. Not saying you can't have what you want, because I'm all about expanding your mind, and I'm all about not having limiting thinking. But I understand that some women will never be in a room of a rich man. Some women will never be in social circles of men who make that type of money. And so I want to make sure that hypergamy is accessible for all women, because it is, and it is still needed. The older I get, and all of my children I got one more child, my baby girl is graduating in June from high school and going off to college. I can tell you now that if I'm not going to say I couldn't have done it on my own. Of course, I'm just like you. I could definitely do those things, but should I want to? That's the thing. Should I want to? But that's the reason why hypergamy is needed, because the more that your children get older and college comes into play, and schools and field trips and travel. All these things come into play. So you want to take in mind what your life is going to look like when you get with this guy. That's why it's important to think about quality of life. Let's not think so much in the terms of finances, especially if you don't already have a shoe in those social circles of finance. If you're already there, then it's going to make it whole lot easier to be able to practice hypergamy in that way because you're already there. But I'm speaking for the women that I already know that do not have access to those circles. Okay, they don't have access to those circles. And the best thing for them to do is to focus more in on quality of life as their hypergamy. Instead of just focusing in on resources, money, how much money he spends on you, focus in on quality of life. What has that been brought into your life that has improved it? There's your journal prompt. There's your journal. If you're very confused about this man, if you're practicing hypergamy, if this guy's gonna be a good guy for you, what has that guy brought into your life to improve it? What has he done to improve your life? How has he improved your quality of life? That is the hypergamy a lot of women will need to practice in order to access it and be able to achieve it. Because I'm all about accessing hypergamy and achieving it. Because I understand how important it is. The worse the economy get, the more women should be thinking more along the lines of hypergamy. What is a man bringing to me to improve my overall life and livelihood? What is this man doing that's going to make sure that my life is better? If I was to think 5 years in the future with this man, what would my life look like? I just gave you a plethora of journal prompts that you can utilize, especially if you're in a current relationship or if you're trying to get an idea of what you're looking for, what's going to be important to you. Because that's what the true hypergamy is. What is important to you? How is your quality of life improved? The options that you receive and the freedom that you have. But hypergamy still matters for all women, regardless if you don't have access to the richest man or the men in the middle. Hypergamy matters. Things are nothing but getting more expensive as the years go by. And so you want to make sure that you have options in how you live your life. You don't have to be out here hustling and grinding. You want to have options in deciding if you want to hustle or if you want to sit. And that's something that he can bring into your life. That's something that he can bring into quality of life. And I will say this. Now, here's something else that I'm against too. And I'm gonna say this on social media. I don't agree with being able to sit but have no resources to sit. Do you get my drift? I don't agree with that type of woman that's sitting but doesn't have the resources, because there is a growing number of women who have options but they don't have the resources to sit. They probably should be doing something else. You all know I grew up cash poor, land rich, which means we still don't have no money. So I don't believe in poverty. I don't believe in poverty at all. At all. Because I understand the damage that poverty does to the psyche, and also the damage that poverty does to your thinking and decisions that you make. Because some people are so damaged by being in poverty, they make bad decisions and choices. So how is he improving your life, your quality of life? And of course, can he, when you sit down and you choose the life of being a stay-at-home mother and wife, is there resources? I'm not asking for the man to be rich. I'm just asking for the man to be able to take care for that you can have some type of enjoyment sitting down. Because I've come across mothers who are stay-at-home moms and wives, but there's no enjoyment in it. Y'all get my drift? Am I coming across okay? Let me know in the chat. I need y'all to talk back with me. Because this is very important. Because I want to make sure that I'm not saying that he is able to sit you down and y'all live in poverty, and that's the hypergamy that you should be practicing. Because I've witnessed that myself. Being a stay-at-home mother and wife, majority of my marriage, I've come across women who have no enjoyment in it. And the reason for that is the lack of money. And I'm going to say that, okay? The lack of money. So I'm not saying that he comes in, just because you're not constantly looking at a specific amount that he has to have, or you're not looking at a specific profession that he's in, he still needs to meet more than basic needs, because there's enjoyment. There's a lack of enjoyment that can happen when there's no funds, when there's no finances, when there's no resources. The women that I've met that were stay-at-home moms and wives, they had no resources, babe. That's where I'm going. So I'm not saying have your eyes only on a certain amount, but I am saying make sure that he can comfortably provide for you and children that come along. But don't get caught up on a number, because when you get caught up on a number, you might let go of a guy because you're caught up on a number. Don't get caught up on a number. Just get caught up on, is my quality of life going to improve? If I was to add 2 kids to this dynamic, will there be enjoyment in being a stay-at-home mother and wife? Because I can honestly say that I've run across some and there's no enjoyment. They would literally be depressed. And here I am like, let's go shopping, let's go out, let's go do this. And okay, y'all get where I'm going here? I'll be like, let's go here and there, because my husband always made sure that I was able not to. I love being a mom, and I know that's one of my callings. I knew always from a little girl that I was meant to be a mother. So I love being a mom. I have no complaints about that. But I also knew that I had no desire to have no enjoyment in it. And enjoyment does matter when you're raising kids or small children. If you're in a situation where you have your children and you can't even get away or get out because there is no resources or no funds or no finance, that's going to be an issue. That can lead to depression, because women still need time for themselves. Women still need to pamper and take care of themselves. Thank you for that survival mode, because I've seen women be like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom and wife, but they're in survival mode. Don't do it. I've already seen results of that. And usually what happens to that, the marriage breaks down. And those are the people that I saw get divorced, because there was no resources. There were no finances. There was no money. She was sitting at home, but there was no enjoyment in it. You get enjoyment for your children, but you have to have something for yourself. You have to have something for yourself. You have to create something for yourself. I love my babies, and all my babies are grown. And I surely enjoyed motherhood. I don't have any complaints. But I think one of the reasons I don't have any complaints is because I had enjoyment also. I had money to go get my hair done. I had money to go shopping. I had money to go out with my friends for brunch. I had money. That's the biggest difference. And I'm not saying my husband was rich. Y'all know I didn't marry rich men. I didn't marry rich men, okay? But I married a man that when we added kids to the dynamic, he could comfortably afford the kids. Y'all are very intelligent, very smart, because I look at my community as very intelligent, articulate women. You all know how to look at things and see if he's going to be able to take care of that type of dynamic. And you can do it without constantly focusing on the amount. But we're smart and intelligent women. We know how much it takes to be able to take care of one person. And then if you start adding another and another and another, you have to be able to do that and comfortably and have enjoyment in doing it. Because I'm not saying those women that I met, because they didn't have any resources, finances, or money, they enjoyed motherhood, but they still became very depressed overall in the situation. Because it's like your friends are like, let's go out. You're like, I can't go out. Can we do something else? Oh, can we? Because usually when I was raising, I don't have any small children anymore. But when I was raising my small kids, my idea of enjoyment and fun is actually getting away from them for a little while. And they couldn't do that. And that led to being left out of things sometimes. unless one of us was willing to foot the bill. And I'm very generous, so I don't mind footing the bill sometimes, but not all the time. I'm very Southern. I look at when a woman comes to me and she has a husband or somebody, a man in her life, I look at her like, why you ain't get the money from him? Why would you ever ask money from a woman? Ask men for money, never a woman. So hypergamy still matters, but look at it in the idea of, is this man improving my life? If he isn't improving your life, then why is he there? Why are you there? The economy will not be getting any better. I know a lot of younger women, and I've been through this before. I've seen economies crash since I'm a little bit older. The economy will not get any better, and yes, it will continue to thrive and move ahead forward. That is the reason why you should not be dealing with men that cannot improve your current situation. If he's not improving your situation, giving you options, giving you freedom, improving your quality of life, then why are you with him? Don't waste your time. Daisy, yes, he's either a problem or solution. Absolutely. And he will be a problem if he's not improving your life. And that's going to be your form of hypergamy. You're going to look at men from now going forward of looking at it, is this man improving my quality of life? What is he bringing to me where my life is being improved with him in it? If you look around and your life starts to, a good indicator I've learned is that when a man comes in and things start to fall apart, then that's not the man for me. I'm sorry, y'all. I am not into the business of, if I just met you, things falling apart, that is a challenge, or that's something I want to test myself to go through. That's not me. I'm too soft for that. So I truly do believe he's coming in your life and you are both getting to know each other. Your life should be improving with him in it. He's a blessing to your life. He's a valuable, he's a great addition to your life. When a man comes in and everything starts to fall down and things start to fall apart and it starts to get worse, he's not the man for you. He's not the man for you. He's a curse, not a blessing. Now, I know things happen. I've been married a long time, so I understand things happen over time, but I would never expect that in the very beginning. To me, that's a good indicator that if he's coming in my life and things are starting to fall down, fall apart, either we aren't making great decisions together, we're not meshing well together, or he's not a good decision maker, or he doesn't have a foundation. There's something wrong, and I should pay attention to it. And I shouldn't go any further, because I know that sometimes when you're raised from a family that's very dysfunctional, you might think that dysfunctional stuff that you all can just get through it, or you can challenge yourself and test yourself to get through that situation, and y'all are gonna fall deeper in love. I'm gonna tell you, I don't do that. Don't do that, because what I've seen from that in my personal experience, all that leads to is more chaos and more mess. And it gets worse from there. The man that you want to bring in your life, the man that comes in your life and he is adding value to your life, your quality of life is improving, your self-esteem is improving, the things that you want, your goals, everything that you're trying to achieve is starting to come together. That's the man. That's the man. When that man comes in, he's a blessing and a great addition to your life. I ain't saying it's going to be it's going to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. There's no perfect relationship. All relationships have their push and pull, their ups and downs. But there should be more ups than downs. Especially if you all are together and you're, doing what needs to be done. But hypergamy still matters. Just because the economy is doing what it's doing, it doesn't mean that you're not practicing hypergamy. It doesn't mean that you're not practicing hypergamy. It just means that what you're going to do instead of taking all this advice on social media, you don't have to take my advice either. Go with your first mind, go with your intuition, go where you are pulled or pushed to go. That's going to be the best place for you to go. Your intuition always knows best. But the best thing for you to do is to only deal with men that improve your life overall. When he comes in, your life improves, it gets better. When he comes in, he's a blessing and not a curse. Yeah, I understand how to shut down family comments about it. Honestly, as a grown woman, when it comes to the family comment, if they're against hypergamy or they want to talk down on it, just tell them you're not comfortable having that conversation. One of the things that when I say that, my family has gotten to know me so well that they know that I'm not going to even speak on it any further. Sometimes you have to stand firm in your own beliefs, regardless if your family doesn't believe in it at all. Because I know that there's families out there who push being in relationships without hypergamy. They look at it as more of 50-50 or some type of partnership. And if that's something you don't desire, you're just going to start backing away from those conversations. Don't go in trying to prove yourself into it or try to persuade someone it's the best thing that you're doing for you. When you go in firm on anything that you're talking about, people usually don't question it. You only get questions when you're not coming off as though you believe your own, you believe your own talking, whatever you're talking about. They put fear on women saying that the men will leave them poor. What, hypergamy? Well, only way a man can leave a woman poor is if a woman doesn't do what she needs to do on her end. Just because a man comes in and improves your life, it doesn't give you the right or the ability to sit down and not improve yourself as a woman. Every woman that gets into a relationship with hypergamy, you should still be improving yourself. And you should be working on your own natural gifts and talents. You should be pouring in yourself. You should be investing in yourself. See, what happens when a man leaves a woman poor is because a lot of times the woman centered the man. And she stopped pouring in herself and she started pouring into him. I don't brag up here because I have no desire to. I'm one of those women who I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. But I can guarantee you this. If we were to break up, I would not be poor. Okay? That's because I have spent the time of my hypergamous marriage pouring in and investing in cultivating my own talents and gifts and giving back to myself. I don't center my husband. I love him. I care about him. I give him consideration. I give him the respect that he deserves as a man, but I do not center him. One thing that helped me was looking at their life, because 9 out of 10, I wouldn't trade places with them. Absolutely. Absolutely not. That's the reason why I have so many conversations on YouTube. And you all know I'm only on YouTube. I no longer have TikTok. I no longer be on Instagram. So if you really want to have a conversation with me, you're going to have to catch me on YouTube. I downsized so I can make things so easy for me, so I can show up on one platform, because I just got tired of just posting to every platform, trying to show up on every platform. That's not my thing. I'm kind of go with the flow. Right? Yes, that can make someone depressed too. You taught us about using our feminine energy to multiply assets and resources. He's a liability. Yes. And that's the reason why, Hessie, I had that conversation. Because if you listen to what I'm talking about when it comes to hypergamy and how to handle yourself as a wife in a hypergamous marriage, you will not have to ever have that fear that you won't be able to take care of yourself. That will not even be something that you think about. Yes, there may be some pain of separation, some pain of a marriage, not working out, but it will not be financial. It will be along the lines of emotional, maybe even spiritual, but not financial. It will never be financial for me. And I hate to say it, and that's the reason why I said a lot of the women who do that, being a stay-at-home mother and wife, you kind of hang around the women that are available, and those usually are the women who are doing the same thing that you are. The thing is, they centered their husbands, and there really wasn't any resources or money or finances for them to do anything extra, and that led to depression, and it also led to them, wanting divorce from that marriage. I've seen it over and over. So hypergamy still matters. It's still as valid as it was when you first started hearing about it. I just want to uncomplicate it. I want to make it simple. Let a man come in, improve your quality of life, give you options, and give you freedom. And look at that and how that affects your life overall versus trying to focus in on things that are going to stop you from accessing or having hypergamy or having it now. I never forget, like I said, I think I brought this up a minute ago when I talked about that comment. She said, there's a young lady, she wrote it on my video. She said, I did the same thing. I got tired. She literally told me, I got tired of chasing a rich man. And I started looking for men that can improve my life and quality of life. And now I don't have to ever worry about money or finances. And I was like, see, that is what I'm trying to relay the message across. Like, you don't have to worry about these things if you actually look at the right things. Yeah, especially if you're married young and you have no one to show you can become centered. Absolutely. And I'm telling you all right now, one of the best things that ever happened for me is having my grandmother. She's the one that really gave me a lot of mentoring and advice because I got married young. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have stayed married. And it has nothing to do with my husband. It just has something to do with the way I was thinking as a young woman. She really gave me some good advice. And she also helped me to, before you all were talking about decentering men on social media, my grandmother taught me that at a young age. Because when I was young and I didn't have anything but the children in the house and basically the home to look after, of course, when you don't have anything of your own, you focus in on your husband. And that's how I know a lot of women don't have nothing of their own, because they be focusing on their husband. They be focusing on where he at, what he doing, everything he got going on. Baby, I got a whole life out here. But my grandmother taught me that and she helped me build it. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have centered and focused in on him too much. Things that men do, I would have probably started looking at or treating him like he's my girlfriend instead of he's my husband. There's a separation that has to happen. She taught me that because I didn't know it. Even today, a lot of people on social media, they draw that line at treating their husbands like their girlfriend when they should be treating their husbands like their husbands. That helps also to decenter him. When you treat your husband like your husband, it helps to decenter him. But when you treat him like your girlfriend, get it? Your girlfriend, when you just tell him everything, that's the first thing that comes in your head. You just tell him everything and just run it off at the mouth. This creates an opportunity for you to center him. And she taught me that. And I'm thankful that she did. Because if she wouldn't have taught me that, I probably wouldn't be able to confidently say that I wouldn't have financial pain. If me and my husband would separate, I would have more emotional and spiritual pain, not financial. She taught me to focus in and develop my natural gifts. She taught me to focus in and creating a life for myself. She taught me to focus in on personal development. She taught me to focus in on becoming the woman that I wanted to become. Because if we were honest, a lot of women who are kind of centering their husbands, they really are arrested development. They haven't developed themselves. That's the reason why they're centering him, because they don't want to focus on themselves. But that's a whole nother conversation. She was a very wise woman, and I'm so thankful for her, because a lot of people don't have that. They don't have that woman who's already been married and she's a widow. She's already done that to give them advice. But hypergamy matters. Like, I don't care or accept that the economy is bad for men, and you shouldn't either. The economy is the economy. The goal of a man is to create his own economy. And that's the type of man that you want to deal with. You want to deal with a man that he's going to always create his own economy, and he's not going to complain about the economy. Men who create their own economies, they're never poor. Because even if they don't have this professional job, they're always going to figure out how to make money. They're always going to be able to use their talent. They're always going to be able to make something shake. Men who don't have that and they're not tapped into their divine masculine, they're going to be the ones talking about, we can't do it. We need to do it together because of the economy. We need to do it together. We're not going to make it because it's the economy. And when you start hearing that, tune him on out, because he's already not in his divine masculine. A man who's in his divine masculine, the economy doesn't matter, because the economy never cared. The economy never cared. It never cared about being stable, or cares about you being able to live, or cares about you being able to eat. The economy doesn't care about any of that, because it's all triggered by the government. So hypergamy still matters. Only thing we're going to look at when it comes to hypergamy, we're just going to be looking for him to improve our quality of life. That's all we're going to be looking for. And have a great understanding of what's important to you. What is important to you? What do you value? What can he add to your life that's valuable? Him coming into your life, what does he bring that is much needed? If he's bringing nothing, then that's not hypergamy. Let's make it simple so all women can assess and have hypergamy now, instead of having all these rules and requirements that's keeping women from being able to assess and have hypergamy. I heard one woman say she a stay-at-home wife and mother, and they have to live a tight budget. He has enough to support the family basic needs and essentials. See this one, and I see that push on social media all the time. That's nothing new. Like I said, I do a lot of stay-at-home moms and wives who are in the same situation. I don't have a budget. Budget to me is limitation. And my husband has never given me a budget. But I also don't go out here and try to empty his wallet or empty his pockets. I understand how far to go. Like, I have common sense. I'm not going out here trying to drain my husband's pockets to the point there's nothing in them. But I don't have a budget because he trusts me to do what I need to do and not harm the family overall, because family is highly important to me. I'm very family oriented. But I understand that there's no enjoyment to being a stay-at-home mom and wife if the basic necessities are not even met. Like, and it sounds like they're on such a tight budget that the basic necessities aren't even being met. And really, when it comes to it, there's a part of being woman that we have to have more than just the basic necessities. We have to be able to take care of ourselves, even if it means, it doesn't mean that you have to be rich to take care of yourself. It means that you have to take care of yourself to a point where you feel good. You get what I'm saying? Where you feel good, that is what you have to do. So I would never want to be in a marriage where I'm living on such a tight budget, I can't get my hair done. I'm living on such a tight budget, I can't do anything that I like to do. I like to go get my facials. Or being able to go and get a simple, maybe I don't want, y'all know I don't cook often, okay? But when I do cook, I cook, okay? But if I don't feel good or I got a headache, I don't want to have to cook because there's no money to go out. Do you get what? And I'm not trying to make this conversation about money, because that's not where I'm going there. I'm just saying that there's a certain level of enjoyment that women need to have, like a certain level of security that a woman needs to have so that she can enjoy life. And if she doesn't have that, and some women, they have centered that man so much, they don't mind living on less. And that's fine for them if that's what they desire. But that's not the type of hypergamy that I can subscribe to. Buying stuff for kids. Yes, absolutely. Kids are so freaking expensive. Kids are expensive. My baby child is going to college in August. Ever since she got admitted and accepted to school, there has been a bill for something. And we're constantly shelling out money for her going to college. And she hadn't even stepped on the campus. She hasn't even moved into the dorm yet. So kids cost money. Traveling for you with your children. Oh my. Traveling with your children. We have a rule in my family. We kind of go on vacation like twice a year. We go on vacation, family vacation twice a year, and those vacations are not cheap. That's why I said there's a certain level of enjoyment that people must have. And if you're not receiving that type of enjoyment, it's hard to actually to be the thing that you want to be. Because I feel like I'm a better mother because I have these things, these luxuries, I guess, of being able to take care of myself in the way that I want to take care of myself, not the way a budget is limiting me to take care of myself. I get to do it in a way that feels good to me, so I feel well taken care of. A woman that is not experiencing that, of course, she's going to get somewhat depressed or not be able to do things or show up in a way that's going to be good for children or be a great mom. I know that's a whole nother conversation. But these are the things I've experienced and I've seen in women, and how I've seen women, they're okay with it in the beginning. But I think when women go into it, they think it's going to improve. But they have to realize, this is the reason why I tell you all the time, look at what a man is currently doing, not what you think he will do. That's the reason why I did the other video prior. And I talked about that, because some women get into these situations, these marriages, and they think he's going to improve financially to be able to accommodate a family, and he doesn't. That's the reason why you look at what he's doing now, you look at what he's bringing, not what he's bringing in the future, not what he's going to bring 20 years from now. You look at what he's currently doing and what value he's bringing to your life. And I encourage women to figure out what's important to you. That's the reason why I'm not going into detail of what value a man brings to your life, because what you see is valuable, what I see is valuable, may be different. What's important to you, that is how you're going to determine what the value is that a man should bring. I knew, for me personally, I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom that was broke. It just didn't appeal to me. It didn't appeal to me. I knew that wasn't going to be something that I was going to be interested in, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to enjoy the things of being a mom. I wouldn't be able to rest in being a mom. I wouldn't be happy being a mom who doesn't have resources or finances. It just wasn't going to be that for me. I didn't require that the man be rich. As you all know, I didn't marry a rich man. I just married a man who's willing to be ambitious and go out here and improve every single year to make sure that we're constantly moving up the socioeconomic level, that he's constantly improving his finances and making sure that we're taken care of. And it's important to me that acceptance, because I knew that I wasn't meant for everybody. I knew that I have a lot of quirks, and I wanted acceptance. I didn't want someone to try to change me or tell me I need to be somebody else other than Braille. Yes, it's true. Buying good sheets and home decor. Home decor is expensive. All of it. That's why I said hypergamy still matters. I don't care about what the economy looks like. I don't care about all these men that's coming on social media and telling you all that you should consider 50-50. The reason why they want you to consider 50-50 is because they are not having fun in this economy. They have activated your own divine masculinity, because when you activate your divine masculinity, you create your own economy. That's what you're looking for. If you want to write that down, like, I'm looking for a man that can create my own economy. And what I mean by that, I give you some examples of that. A man that can create his own economy is a man that's going to have money regardless if you have a job or not. And I'm not talking about in an illegal way. I'm talking about a man who's willing to go out here and mow lawns. A man who's willing to go out here and pick up trash. A man who's willing to go out here and pick up bottles. A man who's willing to sell things to make sure it's cash and money so that he can live. That's the man that you want to deal with. A man who's going to be able to create his own economy. A man who's constantly saving for a rainy day. A man is constantly educating himself so that he can move up in the socioeconomic level. That is a man who's been to create his own economy. That's what you want. You want a man who will create his own economy. Because when you get a man who is so used to being helped by a woman, he can't create his own economy. That's the reason why they're yelling 50-50, and they want a woman to come in and help and save them, because they can't do it on their own. They can't create that economy on their own. And they see you over here doing it yourself. You don't create your own economy. You're using your natural gifts and talents and education to move ahead in life. You created your own economy and able to take care of yourself and able to give yourself enjoyment in life, and he hasn't. And so you need to be very wary of men who can't create their own economy. Men that can create their own economy, they've been saving for it. They've been saving for it. They have ways of bringing in money because they understand that things happen. They're not sitting here stressing money because they know how to create the economy. They know how to make money. They know how to make it happen. That's a man who creates his own economy. And being with a man like that, you'll never starve. You always have a roof over your head. You always have food on the table. You always be able to go on vacation. You always be able to take care of yourself well. And you'll look good doing it. But if you be with a man that cannot create his own economy, all it takes is for one thing to happen. He loses his job, or the economy happens and it gets bad. Well, that is all that I have. Common sense. Yeah, that's all I have. If anything you want to add in the chat, go ahead. Any questions you want to ask, go ahead. We've got a few more minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off this. And you all have, I wonder, happy Friday, right? I love weekends. But hypergamy matters. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. No matter the economy, no matter inflation, nothing has changed about hypergamy. Women should still require it. I'm just saying, make it easy on yourself so that you can access it and have it for yourself. Instead, look at what things did he bring to your life? What value does he bring? How does he improve your life? How does he make it better? And if he makes your life worse, leave. Sometimes challenges that come in the beginning, think chaos that comes in the beginning, that's the warning sign to let you know it's going to get worse. So just leave. Amazing. Thank you, Hessie. NW, yes. Marilyn, thank you. You're welcome. You all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.